Oh, this again. Manny, flip it. What's up, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 33. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Brett Murdoch.
What's up, everybody?
And Emilio Lopez.
Age of Ultron, baby.
Yeah. By the way,
Why do I never have cool shit just off camera? Like, I need to prep better for these things.
Brett, if you ever went to Manny's apartment, you would just, like, spend 30 minutes just in the walkway, the entrance, like, just seeing all the cool shit he has just in that spot alone. The man's place is just filled with cool stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff. I'm glad my girlfriend isn't that antsy about that stuff. But definitely, if I get a new place, that'll go in my man cave or office.
Instead of spreading it all across the room.
Well, the only reason why it's spread around the room, is spread around the house, is because there's no room in my room to put it in, you know. And I still have to have room for my girl, for Jocelyn's stuff. So, yeah, I mean, dude, there's a whole other shelf inside of my room with toys and books and all kinds of shit. So,
that's awesome.
I'm like, even to the side over here where you probably can't see, there's another shelf of things on the wall. So it's like, though I tried to adult up my living room a little more.
Oh yeah, what do you put in, like?
Well, I don't have as many crazy things in the living room. Like, it's not, it's a little like like the Maltese Falcon. It's like stuff like that. It's cool, but if you know about it, but it's not like that.
Yeah, I got you. By the way, Manny,
it's
not what? No, it's not
the Sword of Gondor or anything like that. That's a reference to our buddy Mike, who literally has the Sword of Gondor in his living room.
The sword must be reforged. By the way, Manny, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back in black.
Yes.
Back in black.
Yeah. So yes, how was Chicago? Chi-towns.
I always like going to Chicago. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. I literally got to. Kari is actually, if you didn't know this, he is actually friends with two people who work in game development. He actually knows the guy who wrote the story to Destiny. He actually wrote an old comic for him, so we got to hang out with him a lot for the weekend. And also, he knows the guy who works at Sucker Punch. And if you notice in the second infamous DLC, there was this poster at some point that says like Pimp Juice. But if you take a closer look at it, it actually says Pimp Juice created by Kari Randolph. And there's actually my name actually appears in it too. So I'm actually in the infamous First Light game. Well, at least my name.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I posted it on Twitter a while ago, but yeah. But yeah, it was cool to meet those guys. They're both like huge Metal Gear fans, so I fucking gave them a book. I was like, fuck, take this shit, And I also got to meet a fan, actually a couple of fans of the show.
Give him a shout out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the dude's name. I'm sorry. But he was he's one guy. He said he's one of the silent fans. Like he usually. Keeps to himself and, like enjoys the show and doesn't, say too much. But I'm like, dude, if you ever feel like saying something, drop it in there. Say, yo, man, you guys suck. We love it. You know?
Was he the same guy that you drew for? Because he contacted me. He was like, hey, man, I saw E-Man and he made this for me.
Yep, that's him.
Nice.
And that was him. And then there's also another guy who dropped by. There's also a guy who knew me from DeviantArt. Who's also crazy. A huge Metal Gear fan. He's like, oh, man, I love her in Metal Gear. So. I had a couple of snakes show up to my table.
Oh, so yeah.
it was cool. Yeah, there's one guy who had like a box that said The Orange on it. And then there was another snake there who was actually in the military, and he said he was talking about how difficult it was to get the pieces to the suit together.
Oh, which snake was he?
He was. Everybody seems to pick Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 because the one thing about his outfit is that it's really easy to kind of build. Yeah. A lot of it is you get some fatigues. Maybe a hard part is to get the straps because those are specific straps for use for Fulton recovery and shit like that. And a bunch of the other things. But it's easier to do than something specific like Snake's outfit from Metal Gear Solid 1, which is that crazy like tactical vest shit that he's got.
Yeah, even the one from Phantom Pain is pretty complicated too.
Yeah, but like the other version of him, isn't the one that's just wearing the fatigues and he's got the balaclava around his neck and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of people do that. The hardest part of it would probably just to make that robotic hand,
Yeah, with the one from Ground Zeroes, I guess would be harder. That kind of suit, the stealth suit.
The stealth suit is probably harder. Let's see what else. Yeah, we had a good time. I got to meet up with a couple of people. I got to talk to the writer of the Mortal Kombat comic book.
Oh, really?
The Mortal Kombat is actually has an online comic book, and that's the comic that this guy writes. And he was talking about how how it was to get on the book, and how how actually really nice that the Mortal Kombat fans have been to him, on the book. Like they really seem to enjoy it. And I was like, it's kind of what I think Ed Boon and John Tobias were kind of creating. Their game in the original one is very much in the 90s. They wanted to do comic books, and they actually did do some of the Mortal Kombat comic books. So it was good to talk to him. Who else? I got to bump into some editor friends of mine. I got to bump into the writer of Batman Beyond, and he was drunk off his ass.
Yes.
His name is Kyle Higgins. Really cool dude. Like our whole Batman Beyond team was awesome. When me and the Mortal Kombat guy were talking, it's funny. He works with my old editor on Batman Beyond 2.0. So we were just talking about how awesome our editor was on that book.
Kissing his ass.
And I tweeted it. I'm like, yeah, we were talking about you. We were talking about how awesome you are as an editor. And he goes, it's not that hard because you guys are awesome. I was like, that's nice. But yeah, and Kari got to talk a little bit more about We Are Robins, which was talked about during the show. They also revealed the Dark Knight 3. Yeah, I know.
Why?
I feel like, even though I'm a big DC guy, I feel like it's a little bit. You could just leave it alone. It doesn't need a third one.
Man, you're being nice. Dark Knight 2 sucked.
I wasn't happy with Dark Knight 2.
It looked like it was drawn and colored by a 5-year-old, and this was supposed to be Frank Miller. It's like, dude, you're tarnishing your legacy. Stop. Just stop it. This is probably why they got Brian Azzarello to co-write this one,
So, yeah, that was the big thing that was announced there. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the DC thing. I was just manning the booth, our booth, so it was all good.
Well, cool, man. Good times in Chicago.
Yep, good times. I mean, I always like to go there. That's like my other home away from home. I know a lot of people, not a lot of really good people over there, and the show has always treated me great. The same folks that run the New York Comic Con, the New York Comic Con Artist Alley is the same people who do this one, which is cool. So we all know each other. So we go and say, "Hey man, how you doing?" It's all that stuff.
Nice. Seeing all your buddies and stuff.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. I mean, I got to talk to I think he's called Roboto online. He did a lot of Udon stuff, and he's working on a game right now, and it's actually getting really close to getting made. So,
was it Kickstarter or something?
I think he had kickstarted it a while ago, so it's getting really close to being made, and it's like a side scroller, but it's like old school Capcom side scroller, really cutesy looking characters and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, well,
there you go. All right. So yeah, it's just three of us. Age of Ultron has cannibalized the entire show. This is why we're actually recording late. We're very lucky that Brett is here, by the way. He almost left the show, too, so thank you for the sacrifice, Brett.
I almost went to see Age of Ultron, but then I was like, no. Somebody needs to be there for Throwdown.
Somebody needs to throw it down. But we are not going to be talking about Age of Ultron.
Nope.
Because nobody has seen it, and we do not want to review spoil it for Brett or spoil it for my girlfriend who's in the other room.
Yes.
So pissed.
But we will have a spoiler alert.
Yes.
For it. This Saturday, we're recording it around 2 p.m. Eastern. You can watch us live, and I'll probably post it later on that day. So yeah, we're gonna go in because there's a lot to say about this movie. A lot to say.
Yes.
Again, no spoilers, but I give it the super thumbs up. Great film. All right, let's get into it now. This is one of those things that happened after Throwdown, the last episode. This was pretty big. I didn't even know about this until Saturday when Brett called me up. Brett, you sent me a GIF or a picture or something. I don't even remember what it was, but I'm like, wait, what the fuck is this? And you're like, dude, you mean you didn't know? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea what was going on because My whole timeline was just filled with the Joker, and we're going to talk about that later. So apparently, yeah, Brett is telling me, he's like, well, yeah, you know, Steam and Bethesda, they're going to charge for mods.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
The internet exploded and then caught fire and burned for days. And I didn't find out... timeline, we found out, like, Thursday night after the last Throwdown. And Rachel had apparently found out. She's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really think much of it." And I was like, "Oh my God, what do you mean you did not think much of it?" And pretty much the rest of the internet had the same reaction as I did. And pitchforks were sold. Pitchforks emporiums popped up. It was like the California gold rush. It was bad, and people were angry. And sorry, I cut Tony off. Continue.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to just take the reins from you and be like, "Here's what happened," but
no, you explained it, man. You're the one that needs to explain the shit. Because remember, I didn't find, because this happened Thursday night. I didn't find out about it until almost Friday, like Saturday evening. I had no idea because, again, my whole time I was just filled with the Joker. So it's funny how the internet is sectioned off in this way. It's like this huge fiery explosion is happening on one section of the internet. There's other fires happening on the other end. I was there. I was like in the American fire, and there was a big fire in Europe, which is probably bigger than the one in America, but I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just paying attention. I had no fucking clue.
Well, in fairness, you're not on Reddit, and this is something that it broke Reddit. I first saw it on a PC Master Race subreddit. I was like, here comes the console bashing, blah blah blah, and instead I found an entire subreddit just full of people super pissed off about this mod thing. And then it spilled over into our gaming and like our PlayStation. Like it broke its confines of a single subreddit and broke into all of its related subreddits and immediately became a huge deal. And before we go too much further, I'll clarify for anybody who doesn't know, Bethesda and Steam got together last week on Thursday and decided that they were going to open a paid Steam / Skyrim
yeah, this is for Skyrim
mod market. So basically you could go on there and buy mods, and creators could charge for mods. And the internet exploded. And if you're not familiar with the reasons, it's going to be not for the reasons that you think that it did. The main problem wasn't that people have a problem supporting modders or supporting developers in any way. The indignity came from that the knowledge that the people who made it, the modders themselves, were only getting 25% of the proceeds. That was a big one. Second, a lot of people in the community, myself included, would rather see a more streamlined and organized way to donate to mod authors. I'll get to that in a second, but
yeah, I want to get to some other things because it's just interesting because from what you were telling me, the PC guys were fighting with each other, which I as a console guy found very amusing. I'm not even going to hide that fact. I found that incredibly funny. It's like, oh, you guys are just, because they're always attacking us, and now they're fighting with each other. So as a console guy, I'm just watching the world burn. It's interesting. And then the most interesting part is, to me, Gabe Newell. He is like the god of gods, basically, right? He got fucking downvoted to hell on Reddit. You've never seen that before. I'm like, okay, you're like forsaking your god because you feel your god has forsaken you. The whole thing is just very interesting how people just flip the switch. Like your god is now like vilified. Like he's Satan. Like God became Satan in an instant.
Everybody was following. Everybody had this kind of sense of camaraderie, and this was like just as, I'm not saying it was a calculated move, but it was just as good as a very well calculated like time bomb inside the community, because what it did is it turned seasoned modders who have been doing it for a long time against new modders and against their communities. Like the community viewed people charging for mods as basically trying to be exploitative, trying to jump on it and make a run for the money. Seasoned modders who didn't do this viewed everybody who was charging for mods as exploitative of their hobby. The people who were jumping on board and trying to bring new programming experience were viewed as opportunistic. the old modders who had always been doing it for free and now started selling them were viewed as sellouts. And then there was the community on the other side of this. So basically, it was you've got a den of happy wolves, and you threw a stake right in the middle of all of them, and infighting and flame wars. Like, they actually handled it pretty responsibly, but there was a lot of fucking tension in the community, and it surprisingly got handled in a fairly adult fashion, at least in the circles that I saw, where people were just venting their opinions, and there were disagreements, but eventually it started to bleed over into what can we do about this, and it started to tank Skyrim's ratings with them from like 93 to 84% in like just a couple of days, something like that. So it went from like overwhelmingly positive to very positive. So they were finding ways to fight back, but yeah, everybody kind of mentioned that, you know, Gabe was generally viewed as sarcastically and mockingly so, but you know, as the godfather, the savior. And the best way I had put it is everybody was like, man, now I know how Obi-Wan felt. The chosen one has betrayed us.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, and then obviously because we're gonna talk about the whole thing. Then it ended like they just killed the whole thing. Like not even 3 days afterwards.
Yeah, what Gabe came in and tried to do some damage control, and for the first time ever, you could not find his responses because he did it in an open AMA. You could not find his responses because he was downvoted so badly. I think somebody mentioned something, and his response was, you know, they said this is just a PR move, and he said, I generally try not to do PR on Saturdays. It cuts into my not doing PR on Saturdays time. And their response was, well, then don't fuck the customer on a Thursday. Like, Reddit was not happy with him. And even after they took this down, like, Reddit's, the PC Master Race crowd seems to have taken on Andrew Ryan's motto of no gods, no kings, only men. So they are pissed. And their idea is that they are done with, you know, saying anybody's the golden child, and it's
good for them.
Well, the thing is that you should never think that.
Yeah,
nobody's ever perfect, and you know the thing is that people make mistakes. But I also feel at the same time, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I don't like the fact that you know, a modder who actually, let's say, okay, if you're just a skinner guy and you're just making a new skin for a character that already exists, I mean, it does take a lot of time, but to be honest, if you're totally making a whole new modification of a game, like in other words, making fucking Counter-Strike out of Half-Life, I see that as you should definitely get more if you're doing something.
No, I agree. And like, this is one of those things that nobody who is angry or against this, like virtually nobody, is coming from the place of, my mod should be free because they've always been free. Now, beyond that, everybody has their own opinions. My personal opinion is that I like what Valve used to do, where they used to fish the modding community for professional talent. I think a developer, not necessarily the distributor, but the developer, should open up their source material after a certain amount of time, let a modding community flourish, and then go through, curate the mods being put up, and handpick the best ones to make official and make those released in a official DLC capacity where it can be charged for, and the person who did it gets a cut of it. Like, that's like Counter-Strike. Like, it kind of spawned its own game. Valve is, you know, I want to say Portal started off as a student game. Valve has always been very good at keeping an eye on the community and raising up people who do a good job. And I think that's where we need to see, like, as well as a good donate button. Like, some money should go to the IP developer too. Like, I'm not one of those people that says all the money should go to the modder. Like, if you develop intellectual property and you build its success, yeah, you deserve some kickback. That's kind of the American dream, is coming up with a great idea or a great character, and then, you know, when they're like, we're going to make action figures, we're like, cool, I'll take my 5% and be on my way. Like, that's kind of the fucking dream, and you shouldn't, you know, take away that incentive from anybody to try and, you know, make something that they can then, for lack of a better term, exploit later on for financial gain. Like, that's the idea, is that you build something great enough that people want it, and then you can sell it, or you can leverage that to help support you. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I think the distributor should get a tiny sliver. I think the person who made the IP should get some, and I think the lion's share should go to the person who made it. I don't agree with this. Like Steam gets 20 or 30%, and Bethesda takes 45, leaving 25% for the person who did all the work.
I want to get to that like a little bit later because I want to talk about the other part of it. Because I found because remember, I don't visit Reddit, but I do visit video game sites. So I noticed the other backlash of this. Once the whole thing was killed off, there were a lot of people that came out who they were angry that they killed the program. A lot of journalists were mad. A lot of modders were mad because they were like, "Hey, I worked hard on this. Why the fuck aren't I gonna get paid just because these loud people just silence just kill the whole program?" And
I feel like it should have like they really should have adjusted how much the actual modder gets off of it.
Yeah,
depending on the content that they've created, and also because I feel like a guy just again I said it before, a guy just kind of skinning something, just recoloring somebody's skin, like putting like goggles on a character. They shouldn't make like 50, make like 50% of the profit off of that. Because it's just a redone version, like a slightly fixed version of what was there. But like if it's a totally new thing that these guys are creating, I feel like they should get more. It should be relative to what the content they've created.
I
also feel like they should also have the option to either pay, if somebody wants to charge, yes, they can charge, or if they don't want to charge, you could still have that too. So in other words, you can still release it, but
they're going to definitely have that latter one. But as to the first part, like who polices this is the problem. Like it's not that I have any problem with modders getting paid, and we'd love to find a way to make that happen. And like I want to say, even the entire voice of the Reddit community, as soon as this happened, was unanimous in that thank you, we appreciate you listening to your community on this issue. Please don't take away from this that we don't want to see modders paid and that we don't want to see them, basically get some kind of financial gain from their work.
But that's exactly what's happening. They think that's what they wanted, yeah.
But no, because that's the problem was the delivery method in which it's done. So you just open up the workshop so that anybody can charge whatever they want for any mod that they want with a 24-hour return policy. There's no curation, there's no quality control, there's no backup. What happens when one of your mods breaks because you buy two mods that don't work together? It's after your 24 hours, you can't get a refund. What happens when somebody just stops updating a mod and when the game updates, it breaks it? The problem is there's no accountability, and right now the free-for-all that is Steam Early Access is a wasteland. There are so many horrible and abandoned games that once showed promise but took huge advantage of their customer base as soon as they got the money, and they're essentially just fake companies that are shilling people and then running off once they make the money and never developing and never coming to terms or never coming out with anything. And then they'll set up shop and start another fucking Kickstarter and then run that into early access, and they basically just ride a good idea but never actually come to term. I forget what the term is, but venture capitalists doing that kind of thing is highly illegal, and so it's just another venture it's just another situation where the law hasn't caught up because it is immoral. And the last thing that a lot of people want to do is open up mods to that kind of horrific thing, which is why we say, like, go through as the developer, go through as Steam, pick out the highest rated mods, make them official, fucking charge us for them, do something, but don't just make it so that every Tom, Dick, and Harry can charge 99 cents, because then you're going to see every asshat on the planet trying to make a mod and sell it and make a few extra bucks when A, they're not qualified to do it, and B, they're not actually there enough. Like, yeah, you may make a little bit of money off it, but now that you've actually started charging for it, are you really going to not show up at your job for a pizza boy, or not show up to class, to chemistry class or whatever, because the thing that you wrote a mod for broke and the people who you've already got their money are pissed? Like, I severely doubt you're going to take care of people, and and you want to talk about people being abused by companies like EA, just wait until you fucking throw that shit to the public. Dealing with the public in a business sense every day, they will fuck you at every opportunity. Especially in a situation like this.
I think that's what the problem is. The idea behind this is not bad. Modders getting paid, especially these guys that put hours and days and years into stuff. That's not the problem. Yeah. The way it was implemented is completely fucked up. But at the same time,
it's anarchy, man. It's complete anarchy.
And anarchy is not good. Anarchy does not fucking work. But the thing is, why did you have to kill it? Why couldn't you say, okay, we're going to hold this back and restructure it? Why just throw the baby with the, throw the bath, what? Yeah.
It was just killed from Bethesda and Skyrim, and here's the problem: nobody asked it there. But Skyrim had a perfectly healthy modding community that was one of the best for the last 4 years. To come in and try and capitalize or monetize an already thriving ecosystem is going to be detrimental to everybody. So what they're going to do now is they're going to still kind of implement the ability to charge for mods, but as games come out. You can't necessarily just leap in and be like, well, because the problem was there's so many people that play Skyrim for the mods that you in effect went and held them hostage until, they wanted to download all 50 of these mods. Like, how would you like waking up tomorrow and saying you can't play your game unless you pay another $50?
Yeah, but you know why I chose Skyrim, because it's the most successful game there. They wanted as much money as possible. Still
exactly, and that was the wrong way to go about it. And that the community sees very clearly through that kind of shit. They're like, that's you just trying to leverage the fact that we want to continue playing these games that we have invested so much time in. You were going to try and monopolize us, and you thought that we were going to sit there and just fucking take it, and we didn't. So, kudos to everybody who stood up, who wrote bad reviews, who said something like, I'm legitimately and honestly proud of how adult that this whole situation went down. Like, to a certain
you
extent,
say that. Like I said, I want to get to this.
To a certain extent, there was a big angry mob, but it was a big angry mob that voiced their concerns in a fairly logical way. They made their issue known, and they went about trying to fix it in the best way that they knew how. And even when, there were some people downvoting Skyrim, and other people were saying we shouldn't be downvoting a game based on how we feel about the developer and their decisions. But then other people were saying, when I buy my game and I'm looking for a review, I want to know how, as a consumer, how wise this purchase is. And if it's from a company that's trying to exploit me and doesn't have, I rated it higher because it had mods, so I'm going to rate it lower now because, they are now charging for mods. So they've just basically changed it to unregulated, crappy DLC microtransactions, which is a fucking nightmare for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the PC guys didn't like that. It's like, oh, this is just like a console now. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're saying, this is the same kind of shit that we make fun of.
No, it's not like a console
because they can't.
It's not like a console because those are DLC, and there's DLC for PC games too.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but I just, like I said, I
need to pay for them separately.
Brett, I wanted to ask you about the other side. I don't know if you read the dissenting voices. They're like, these people fucked up. They shouldn't have gotten rid of this. They were mad at the people who were screaming for this to be gone in the first place. And some of these are like some big modders saying this. It was like, what the fuck? These guys ruined it.
Oh, like the dude who made Gary's mod? That dude can go fuck himself with
like him.
Balsa wood. Like, how dare you? How dare you sit back and fucking talk shit? You made your success off of a free mod that then you charged as a sandbox for, and built your fortune off of everybody else doing free mods. If free mods weren't a thing, Gary's mod would not fucking exist in order to be nearly as fucking successful. You owe your fortune to the exact thing you're fucking browbeating right now. Go fuck yourself, you goddamn hypocrite.
Oh, what about the other guys?
That had me steaming for fucking days. Because the problem is, Counter-Strike would never have happened if it weren't free. Yeah. You need to kind of be free to build this popularity. And I'm not telling anybody they have to charge free for their product. I am not saying that at all. By all means, come out with your own project, but don't make it fucking based on my IP or the back of my success. If you're not going to throw, and I will allow you to have fun, like that fan fiction all day long. But if you take, a comic book that I write and try and sell it as canon and not give me a cut, I'm going to burn your fucking house down.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You're touching on a good pointer because that's the thing. It's like, what about these? Like, okay, here's the thing. People were upset about the cut, right? That the user only gets 25%. But, and I'm just asking a question. They're modding something that they didn't create in the first place. So should they get that much of a big cut to begin with?
Dean Hall actually brought up that point, and you know, maybe not. Like at that point, you really have to negotiate in an official capacity. The fact that the modders had no choice but to take this cut as it was kind of being shoehorned in, like the whole thing stank of being exploitative. Like there's no problem. Like, I want everybody to make mods for their money, but I want to make sure when I buy a mod as a consumer, I'm not getting boned over. And I think a lot of the people, you know, shouting dissent for this don't know what they're talking about. Even if they're modders, they're people who have built their success. Like, DayZ started as a free mod of Arma. If it were a paid mod to begin with, one, it would never have been nearly as successful, and two, I would have kicked somebody's goddamn teeth in because that thing were broken half the time. Like, mods are often not quality products. They are not worthy of being sold, and when they do get to the point of being worthy of being sold, and there is a market for it, most of the time somebody will swoop in and try and fill the market with that thing. That's how Dota became a thing. That's how DayZ became a thing. That's how Counter-Strike became a thing. There's not a problem with letting the cream rise to the top and you know, charging everybody on the ground floor for something that you don't know whether it can be good. Like, this is incredibly bad for the consumer. And if it's incredibly bad for the consumers are going to leave, and that's going to ruin the entire ecosystem. So yeah, I imagine there are some modders who want to cash in right now and charge for every little thing until the entire modding scene dies up. Like, it's a very delicate balance that you need to think about more than just how much money can I get out of it right now. There needs to be some kind of regulation, and I have no problem in paying for it, but my response as a customer is, what am I getting now for the money? Like, I understand that I get the mod. Do I get a guarantee on the mod? Do I know that it's going to work? Is it going to be higher quality, or are you just going to charge me for the same janky shit? Because I'll be honest, the second I fucking pay for that game, my expectations change into a whole new world, my friend. A whole new world. And if you don't measure up, how do I know not to buy games from you anymore? Like, I can't spend my time going through and checking every single fucking developer and every single fucking modder to find out their history. So if that happens, then we're really going to need some kind of meta site where you can rate developers on obligations and things like that. Like, we're going to have to change the whole system, and that's something that I'm willing to do. But just going in and basically throwing the gates wide open and declaring anarchy in a sub-community that has been peaceful and happy buying after, you know, having bought and paid for a game long ago for this very reason, like, that's not cool. So I'm sorry to all the people who are upset that this thing got relegated. The thing you should realize is that nobody's going to stop business from steamrolling. This is a thing that's going to be implemented. A lot of people are trying to make sure that it's implemented in a way that doesn't completely ruin us. Because again, I'll remind everybody, fucking Bethesda opened this whole DLC thing to us. They sold it on us, and now we have games like fucking Evolve. Like, we as gamers constantly need to stand, vigil and tell people what we are and are not willing to fucking accept. And this is a good instance of that. It doesn't mean that we demand our mods to be free. And honestly, if that's the point that you're taking, you're either A, strawmanning, or B, an idiot. And either way, like, arguing with you would be pointless. So
because that's what the major sites obviously are saying. It's like,
of course that's what the fucking major sites are saying, because they want to call out gamers for being babies. It's not about gamers being babies or gamers fucking throwing a tantrum. It's about holding business accountable, like we used to do back in the 50s when our fathers and grandfathers ran the country, because they were fucking men, and we don't know. We're just a fucking country full of hipsters now. Fucking stand up, tell a company what you will and will not do. It's what switched over the Xbox's policies and made them a fairly decent company. It's the reason I can go over to a buddy's house and play Xbox without vomiting in my mouth a little. Because everybody stood up. Everybody stood up and let their voices heard.
Remember, they flipped too, man.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, Sony needed to be like put in their place. Like, companies will take advantage of you if you let them. I don't understand why people get all up in arms about people making their voices known. It would be better if we did this in politics. It would be better if we did this, like, the whole Gamergate thing. Like, I wish we had that kind of backlash in any other form of journalism, in political journalism, in consumer journalism.
Yes.
I wish we had the backlash, just anybody turning a scrutiny, just anybody fighting any kind of fight in these clearly corrupt areas. That'd be fucking great. But apparently it's only going to happen in gaming, because gamers passionately care about their hobby, and good for them. Like, the PC gamers are the most passionate and most.
You don't fuck with PC gamers, man. They don't charge them shit.
Yeah, it was a bad idea to go fucking with that crowd, because like, you get into if there is a forest of people you don't want to fuck with, in the middle there's a little clearing, and that's where the PC master race lives. You leave them you fuck alone, not poke them with a stick, because they will lash out at you.
Yeah, all right, yeah, so the whole situation is very interesting. It'll come back in some way. Hopefully it'll be better, because, you know, we've learned from this, basically. If you don't do it right, the PC guys will go after your ass, so do it right. And, yeah, there's a lot of room for corruption. I'm talking about the little guys. Like, you're right, they'll charge a mod, get their money, and then they'll be all fucked up, and then it doesn't matter. They're not held accountable.
And then there's the other side. They're just like, oh, you know, the big guys will be like, hey, if you could do that.
Oh yeah, imagine it could get worse on the console side too. Oh, they're doing that. How about we charge for this too? Yeah,
oh well, no, it's even like, you know, Bethesda games on PC generally need a patch to run optimally. Like, there's pathing issues, there's sloppy programming.
They need patches in console games too, man. They're all fucked up.
Yeah, I know, but on PC games, the community is the one that generally writes those patches. There are 4 integral patches.
Manny, you've been talking about this, how the fans have to fix their games.
Yeah, so leave it to everybody else to fix their games.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And there's at least 4 patches that are
as much as Bethesda is good at what they do, they're also not very good at what they do, and they release broken pieces of crap.
Can you imagine
nobody seems to think
patches?
is a broken pieces of crap?
Yeah, they don't mind. It's like, oh, it's Bethesda. They're
great. Oh, it's a Bethesda game. You can walk anywhere in the world. Never mind that you can fall through the world at any moment.
Yeah, and the game could lock up on you at any given second.
Yeah, you know? Can you imagine having to buy a mod pack of, you know, game won't lock up on you, no fall through world, no glitch texture, freeze, no, you know, you have to pay $4.99 to not have your textures pop in.
That's insane. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that's the world that they're building.
So frustrating. But yeah, the whole thing is just interesting. How it's just like I said. I guess it mostly happened already because I'm a gamer. I live in this world. I had no fucking clue. It's very interesting.
I think it also is just it doesn't really like it also didn't something that didn't jump out to you. It's like it's just those guys.
Yeah, but I noticed the afterlife, the
I mean that's one of the things that I actually read while I was at C2E2. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. And by the way, I felt bad too because Coalition was covering it. I just wasn't paying attention.
Oh, you ain't looking at the site, yo.
Bad boy.
That's gotta be your start site. When you wake up during the day, the Coalition should be like, bam.
Yeah, exactly. It is the top side I have in my bookmarks, but yeah.
Here's the thing. You know, I mean, as far as that stuff goes, it's like, yeah, it's on both sides. I mean, I think it just needs a revision, and I'm hopefully that, you know, if they decide to do it, then they decide to do it. So, like, you know, maybe the modders get a little bit of better pay out of it. Maybe maybe both sides will be better. It just makes them. It gives you a good chance to kind of rethink of something because it's not. You don't need to get. It doesn't need to go away. It just needs to be revised.
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing I want to bring up. Okay, the whole 25% cut. It's like, okay, if you make a mod to make different weirdo ears on someone, you probably shouldn't get 25%. That's a cheap, stupid mod. But on the other side, if you make a whole game like DayZ or whatever
Counter-Strike,
you should get more than 25%. So there needs to be like a good balance there.
That's exactly what I was saying. Where it's like essentially based on, but then you need also you would need what Brett was saying was that you need like a quality assurance type of thing. Somebody has to look it over and actually be like, well, what you did, you just added Spock ears to Commander Shepard.
Yeah, like, no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guy. But then that will mean that there isn't that instant, like in other words, as soon as you finish the mod, you can toss it up there. I mean, that's the way they usually go. Now there has to be.
The best mods could be sold as like super cheap DLC even on consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, anyway, just wrap it up. Yeah, very, very interesting. We'll see how it goes because this will come back. But again, it's another example of the power of the people. And you're right, Brett. It's mostly gamers that are doing this sort of stuff. I now that I thought about it, it's like, oh, why don't we do this for real shit? And responsibly, by the way, not like these fucking idiots in Baltimore burning up the whole city. Not like that, but, in a responsible way. I'm sorry to bring politics into this, people. I know we're supposed to entertain you, but that's a whole fucked up situation. Anyway, let's move on. And I don't have my show notes open. I think Konami's next. That's what we're talking about now. Kojima, Silent Hills.
Well, anyways, we can talk about it. Whatever. Yes,
yeah, we're gonna jump
Silent Hills is, as of today, or as of yesterday, it's gone. It is off the PlayStation Network, so you can't download it. And you know what's happening on eBay?
Mm-hmm. It basically, Manny, our PS4s are worth a lot of money now.
Our PS4s are worth a lot of money because they got some PT.
Mm-hmm.
It's been removed because it's not happening. Silent Hills has been canceled. And rather than Konami being kind of a bunch of cool folks and leave it on there and just say that, and just maybe adjust it a little bit so it just says it doesn't say that, they just totally removed it. And it actually was confirmed by Guillermo del Toro himself, who said, yeah, it's a shame, but PT is not going to be happening. Norman Reedus and all that stuff is not happening. We knew this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. By the way, there was
that was one of the first questions. As soon as everybody heard this stuff about Kojima, they're like, "What about Silent Hills?
Mm-hmm.
What about Silent
say
Hills?
Nothing.
Gone." And this is just speculation, but if once Kojima walks out the door, and then he announces a new game, and it's essentially this horror game that just not called Silent Hill, people would just jump over on that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny. It's amazing how Konami just goes from the highest moment in their highest moment in their
history.
In their history, or one of the higher moments in their history, to immediately going to the lowest, and whatever happened there behind the scenes, it's bad. So.
Yeah, it's insane, man. But the whole thing is, it's like, what's gonna happen to Konami after this? Because the way I see it, maybe I'm being overly pessimistic because I have too much interest.
Konami. One thing about Konami is they're not going to be hurting.
Oh no, they're not, because
they still have they still have another business. If they decided to say, fuck the video game industry, we're done with this shit, we're just going to continue to make fucking slot machines and produce like collectibles and stuff like that, that could be their business. Because video games these days, again, they cost a lot of money to create, and before, it was just a drop in the hat. It was just like, oh yeah, takes you a month to complete this little platformer? Sure, why not? Now it's like multi-million-dollar games and takes multiple years to create. Look at how long it took to create the Fox engine to make the Phantom Pain. 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, they probably don't want to put a lot of money in there.
They probably don't want. Kojima in general was, that was a big risk, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, what goes on with this stuff. But yeah, no PT.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like the game had so much potential, now that's it, gone because of some company infighting, basically.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Well, do you think somebody else is already sitting back thinking this, and I'm eyeballing Kojima to be like, hey, so yeah, you want to just make a horror game?
I say this. I say the moment that Kojima walks out of that building, he says, we're done. He has his little box. Either this will happen. He'll have a new studio, and maybe that unnamed horror game will actually mysteriously materialize as his new first game, which would have so much interest. Imagine it had Norman Reedus, and imagine it had this thing. It's just not called PT or
it's just called
PT or Silent Hills.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that much. Number one, officially, that game, the minute you remove the Silent Hill moniker from it, it doesn't resemble any of the Silent Hill shit.
It's true. It doesn't look anything like Silent Hill.
Yeah, and Silent Hill doesn't own the rights to hell bleeding into a reality. They only own the rights to
exactly.
Exactly. So all you need to do is just change a couple things, maybe redesign Norman Reedus, a little bit more, and there you go. You got your new horror game.
Well, it looked like Norman Reedus, though. Like, you also don't hold the rights to Norman Reedus' face.
Maybe in this version he doesn't have a beard, and he doesn't look like the way he does in Walking Dead.
In this one he looks just like he does in Walking Dead. So if they're like, well, we own the rights to that. They're like, actually, that's the one from Walking Dead. They'd be like, damn it.
Yeah, it's like, no, you don't own the right to this man's face.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that's interesting. Think about it like this, right? Like, he could totally do this game without naming it Silent Hills, right?
He can totally do it.
Here's the other thing. I actually was blabbering right now because I lost my train of thought. Fox Engine. This is what I'm hearing. Konami doesn't have the rights to Fox Engine. Kojima owns the rights to Fox Engine, and he is not letting Konami take Fox Engine. So he could make this game, like all the assets or whatever, he could use all that shit because the game was never even built beyond PT. So this game could materialize under a different moniker, Quiet Valleys. I don't know, but the game could
Quiet Valleys.
But it could definitely resurrect. He could bring back Guillermo. He could bring back Norman Reedus. Just call it something else. You don't. Konami doesn't have the license on horror games.
No.
And if you're right, man. You're right.
Thing is,
you take the Silent Hills name out of it. It's just a horror game. That's it.
Honestly, I think more people would play it if it weren't Silent Hill because so many people are like, oh, I haven't played any of the Silent Hill. Like this one, everybody knows that it doesn't have anything to do with the other ones, but that's not common knowledge amongst the peanut gallery. So
yeah,
I think we all need to very loudly tell Kojima like you should still make this game because I'll buy it. Like you want to run a Kickstarter? Where do I put my money?
Yeah, like I said, as soon as this guy walks out of the studio, money's just gonna fall on him. Like,
yeah, he knows how much support.
He already knows how to create a fucking studio. That Kojima Productions was created by him. He was the president of Sony of Konami Digital Entertainment, the section of Konami that actually did video games. So he knows how to run a studio. So all he needs is the funding to create this thing and to get his people into place.
And you think people are going to
crowdfund this shit?
I definitely think people will back him.
You know for a fact.
Yes.
Somebody is going to back this man because they've seen his track record. They know what he can do. I predict Kojima Productions will be an independent studio. I really predict that. They may be an indie studio, but they will be independent.
I don't think they need to get money from somebody. Like I think they could crowdsource the funding pretty easily.
But I mean, here's the thing. Like, how does a guy like David Jaffe create a studio? How does a guy like the guy who created Gears of War, what's his face? Cliff E.B. How does he get his own studio?
He poses with props.
He poses with props. No, but I'm saying
constantly.
Like obviously he has a reputation that people.
That's what he's trying to get.
Has a reputation that people are willing to fund and put money invest in. How Kenji Inafune, again, another guy. How did he get his own studio? Obviously, because he is a person that is trusted and has time-tested knowledge and stuff like that. In other words, he's proven himself. So I definitely think it will not be that hard, and it will not be that long before we hear Kojima Studio or Kojima Productions or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to see what Kojima could really do outside of Metal Gear.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing, Manny and I were huge Metal Gear fans, but we've always been like, can we see this man do another game now, please?
Yeah. Remember when he used to do other games?
Yeah.
Police Knots?
Police Knots? Yeah. Come on. Like, now we'll finally see this man do it, like, he'll be big now. Like he can finally stretch his wings and really let his creative, crazy juices just fly.
I feel like that's the reason why Metal Gear has kind of switched around it so much. In its essence, it is a war stealth game, but each iteration of the game has been an improvement and change on the past one. You don't exactly do the same things in Metal Gear Solid. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 is very close to Metal Gear Solid 1, but just with better graphics. But you go into Metal Gear Solid 3 where they have the whole camouflage aspect, and you go to 4 and it has a whole bunch of other things in it. So it's like each one is kind of like he's changed up the formula because he's probably bored of it the way it was done before. He could just as easily just rehash the formula like a lot of other studios do, Capcom.
So you know what I'm hearing is that there's a creator who is beloved by his fan base, who's left his original studio, and is now being begged by a community to do this work that has gotten a lot of hype and the fans want to see, which sounds an awful lot like Mighty Number 9.
Well, yeah, segue right there. Because Manny already mentioned Keiji Inafune right now.
Yeah, we already jumped to Capcom, so let's finish this.
This is interesting. Okay, because this game, Mighty Number 9, we've been hyping this shit when we were the Throwdown back in the day. Hyping this because we love Mega Man. We love Mega Man, but Capcom doesn't want to give us Mega Man. So Keiji Inafune said, fuck you guys, I'm making Mega Man. I'm not calling it Mega Man, but I'm giving you guys Mega Man. And the fans absolutely loved it. Now, Manny and I, we kickstarted this shit. We gave it money and stuff. Now, apparently, we're going to get that and more because they've teamed up with Deep Silver, one of the companies that kind of bought up a bunch of THQ shit. And the game's going to come out in retail for next, current-gen consoles. It's going to get a bunch of new shit. And us guys are going to get it all for free, which is fantastic. All the extra shit.
That's amazing.
So it's great. So the game is going to be even bigger than it was supposed to be. Like, it was supposed to come out now, just exclusively digitally. Now it's coming out for everything. Even the Wii U is getting the fucking game. That's how you know it's serious.
Yeah, everybody's getting that shit. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I personally wanted a physical copy. In fact, I bought the version. I upped it up a little bit, and I make sure that I got the box.
Me too, baby. I did.
So does that mean I'm going to get a PlayStation 4 game?
That's what I asked for. I'm like, hey, I want that PS4 version. That's exactly what I asked for. So I expect that shit. So great fucking news right there. The game, Mega Man. By the way, I forgot the guy's name. The guy who created Castlevania. He is also making a game that is what the fans expect from him. That's what he said. See, Konami, you done fucked up. You didn't give this man what he wanted. Now he's gonna make Castlevania on his own. And
I think the biggest issue with the Castlevania guy is that he's kind of been making the same games over and again. Like when he made like those kind of Order of Ecclesia and Residence of Innocence or whatever the fuck those names are, they're all pretty much the same. They're pretty much that other Castlevania game, the Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
they're kind of based off of Symphony of the Night, but at the same time, you wonder how much development did they give him on there. He's like, all right, they make a new Castlevania game. All right, how much does that cost? I'll just reuse the castle again. We'll just slightly change some things. So, I mean, I'm glad that he's actually doing something too. That he's doing something that he's known for. And I mean, it's kind of sad that I know he hadn't made such good games as of late. Like the remake of the Dracula X Chronicles that they had made wasn't so good.
Yeah.
He had made that weird Castlevania fighting game, and or the 3D Castlevania. So he hadn't had much luck with stuff. So he's a little bit of a wild card. Who knows if he just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, but I mean the point is, it's just good that he's doing, like, even though he was making those Castlevania games, it was obvious like you have to make Castlevania now. So maybe now he'll make a more of a Castlevania game that he wants. But in the meantime, if you like Castlevania and you want to play Castlevania, play Bloodborne and you'll be fine. That is Castlevania.
You like Castlevania? Play Bloodborne.
By the way, I wrote an editorial about this and everybody really liked it. They're like, yeah, man, that shit. I've been saying that shit since Dark Souls, man. This is fucking Castlevania. Like,
yeah,
cool.
That's essentially what the Souls games are. Castlevania games are fucking brutally hard. The story is what, do you know what the guy goes into a castle with a whip?
Yep. Yep. And
I mean, granted,
the levels wrap in on each other. Bloodborne.
The levels wrap around it. Granted, there was more story in the Bloodborne and Souls games than there are in.
Yeah, in those games, if you go into a room and there's a big monster, there's probably a reason for that. In Castlevania, it's like, hey, the Grim Reaper's just hanging out in a room just 'cause,
Yeah, we have a behemoth in this room. Don't worry about it. Just kill it.
How did Dracula get all these monsters in one castle? That's what I want to know. How powerful is this man? It's like, hey, Death, Grim Reaper, you go here now. I'm going to lock you in there.
In later games, you realize that it's actually the castle that is the thing, and he controls the castle. The castle is what manifests all these horrors.
Yeah, I just find it funny. Hey, Grim Reaper, come with me. Leave him a trail of cookies or something. Okay, bitch, you're locked in there now. And then
Grim Reaper, come to my castle.
And then Simon Belmont just, oh shit, here's the Grim Reaper in room number 73. Reaper. Shit.
Let me put on my loincloth.
Oh man. So yeah, cool stuff from them. Moving on here, and I have my show notes up now. Very interesting stuff here. So PC gaming is getting its own event at E3. This is the first time ever. Interesting. Here's what I found fun. AMD and PC Gamer are hosting this. NVIDIA nowhere to be seen. Hate, man. That's salt.
You know what? Just jump in there too. Fuck you guys.
Because they don't like each other, man.
Seriously, no. Just get over it. You both make graphics cards. Fund that shit, because you know what? Both of those things use your shit. It's like having Sony. It's like having Sony show up and not have Microsoft show up. Seriously.
Yeah, but it's one thing though. But it's just interesting. Let me load this up real quick so I can tell you who's going to be there, because they got a list of who's who. They got AMD, obviously, Blizzard, Bohemia Interactive, Cliffy B, Clown Imperium Games, Dean Hall, Devolver Digital, Humble Bundle, Heart Machine, Paradox Interactive, Square Enix, and Tripwire Interactive. This is going to be a very busy E3. That's like a lot of fucking conferences.
Where the fuck are they going to put that shit? Seriously.
The Belasco Theater at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday. This is the first official day of E3. So.
Oh, okay. So they're going to have their own press conference.
Yeah, very interesting.
I mean, why? It is E3. It doesn't. I don't hear games in there at all. So.
Yeah,
sure.
But I just find it, because the thing is, E3's always been the home of console gaming, so...
It has been the home of console gaming, but nowhere in the title of E3 does it say video games.
Yeah, electronic entertainment.
It's electronic entertainment. You can have a fucking Pong, a futuristic Pong game, or Electrodes, or something like that there. It's just, it's an electrical entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to get technical, movies are electrical entertainment too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So Brett, as a PC gamer, what do you think about all this?
I'm excited. I mean, the more the merrier. Just because it's generally a console thing doesn't mean that there's not room for PC games. The same way.
I'm surprised that there. I mean, definitely we have seen when we've gone to the show floor, there has been a PC presence. A lot of
very big.
No, I mean like another. You may not see what's underneath the little module.
Oh, yeah, in that sense, yes. But I'm talking about compared to PAX. PAX is like, I couldn't even play half the games because they were keyboard and mouse. That's a very PC-heavy event compared to E3.
Most of Indiecade is also a lot of PC-centric games. Because that's where Steam is and stuff like that. So I definitely played a lot of when I was in the Indiecade part of E3, I definitely played a lot more PC-centric games there than I did in the rest of the show.
Yeah, it makes sense, though, because PC gaming is so big now with indie games and stuff that you kind of have to have its own kind of show right there. So that's good. Definitely good.
Definitely.
More the merrier. All right, and the last thing...
the same thing. It's like also a lot of companies are actually... people like Capcom are actually making PC versions of their Street Fighter games. You never heard of that. They had it in the old days, but not as of late. But now you're actually getting to see PC versions of a bunch of games, which is cool.
Yeah, more the merrier, right? Mm-hmm. And the last thing here, throwing in this thing here just to annoy a couple of people because it's just fun to me. I like to troll. PS4 has sold 22.3 million units as of the end of March.
Is this to go with the Microsoft is in the red last show?
Yes. We're gonna call the show PS4 is better than everything. Fuck you guys.
Oh God.
Again, this just goes to show you give customers what they want, people will go to it, even if you don't have that many games. But the reason I want to bring this up is like, okay, Sony is the riding high right now. They better show some at E3 because they don't have anything for the fall, and that's where the big games come out. Like, granted, they're kind of making Star Wars like an exclusive, but it's not an exclusive. You need an actual big-ass exclusive. So hopefully they'll show some, because otherwise, if you don't, that momentum that they have, the momentum that Sony is still confused by, it's just gonna drop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, because it's not. I mean, granted, it's like, oh yes, we have all the games that everybody else has on our console, but that doesn't. It's usually a lot of different things, and people really want to see that, what they had at the end of the the PlayStation 3 era, where you had coming out with games like Journey, and you're coming out with games like God of War, like these really really great first party titles. But the thing is, but maybe it's too early for that sort of stuff.
It may be. I mean, that goes back to the whole these consoles were released too early thing, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and hopefully, I'm still thinking about Age of Ultron, so I'm all discombobulated here. Okay, so...
Of course.
Yeah, hey, man. Okay, I won't say anything else. But anyway, so here's the thing. How do you keep them? Because the thing is, right now, it is just moving on its own momentum because, like, hey, I want to get in console. What are my friends playing? PS4, get that. But the games need to be there for it to keep going, it's just a case of someone needs to fuck up in order for them to lose, kind of. But yeah, they need the games. But here's the thing I want to bring up. This was the most successful division of Sony this year, because this was I got this from Sony's report, not this PlayStation, Sony's. Pretty much the gaming division saved the whole fucking company, more or less. Like Sony overall actually made a profit this year, which is good, but it was because of PlayStation, the whole gaming division, basically.
And also the thing is, also the fact, since they kind of cut loose a bunch of other divisions, they cut loose their PC division, they cut loose their TV division.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like Kaz Hirai is doing a good job. They brought him in to make it profitable, and Sony is profitable again. Maybe not profitable by that much, because they didn't even hit $1 billion. I think it was only half, like 500 million something, which is, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but for big companies, it's not. But it's still a profit, so that's good. But it was mostly because of the gaming division. The gaming division is holding everything up, despite the fact that PS3 is not selling as much, and the PS Vita and PSP aren't selling as much anymore. Just the sales of PS4 and the games are keeping the whole company afloat, which is very fucking interesting.
Here's the most interesting thing. Even though the PS Vita is not selling as crazy, the internal market, the people that have already the installed base of the PS Vita is really rabid, and they'll buy a lot of games. So one thing they don't talk about is that's why people are still continuing to make PS Vita games, like Tim Schafer and all those guys, because they still make money off of that shit, and it winds up doing pretty decently. So people aren't picking up PlayStation Vitas like crazy, but they're still buying the games, and the games are doing pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, very interesting stuff. All right, I'm gonna switch the roles of. Go ahead, May.
One more thing. The Kickstarter for what is it? The Banjo, the guys that make Banjo-Kazooie, just showed up. By the way.
The spiritual successor.
The spiritual successor. What is it called? Ukulele.
Yuka
and Lele.
Like
yes,
like
which
that.
essentially just looks like Banjo-Kazooie font. But what's interesting about this game is it's literally the friggin' guys who made all those games that you love, like Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie and all those guys. Literally, the guys that aren't making fucking avatars.
Yeah.
Literally just broke off on their own and said, all right, we got our own studio now. And we're making this game, which has a Banjo-Kazooie-like font.
All right, I'm going to switch the main things here because I want to end it off with the Joker thing. One big thing with another big thing. Okay, so for years, people have asked for this, and it's finally happening. New Dragon Ball Z series by Akira Toriyama. Because GT was not by Toriyama. A lot of people, myself included, don't even... we don't talk about GT. We do not talk about GT. Fuck Dragon Ball GT. So, but the reason I want to talk about this is, like, as much as I like Dragon Ball, like, it should probably just end because, like, how much more powerful are you gonna make these guys? They can already destroy the universe.
If you watch the recent movie, you get to see the.
Oh yeah, I just saw the recent movie. I was actually surprised by how much I liked it.
But I mean, because also they're kind of getting a little bit silly again. They're allowing the movies to be silly as opposed to where it's all like.
I did miss that a little bit.
But he went from red to blue.
The Frieza movie, right?
Yeah, the new Frieza movie. I'm back.
I'm back, Kakarot.
I'm back, Kakarot.
But yeah, I'll tell you one thing about this new Dragon Ball Z series. It's gonna look fucking nice, man. Because the old Dragon Ball Z series, it had like 5 or 6 studios, and you could tell which studios did which episodes.
Yeah, one thing about it is it'll remain consistent, and I'm glad that the Akira Toriyama is going to do it back again. I mean, one thing to know about Akira Toriyama, you could tell like even from those last few Dragon Ball series, they would actually for the States he used to have this little thing he used to put in all the comics, and they actually translated it, and you can actually read his spiral into discontent with the book. Like saying, oh, God, this is taking too much longer. Oh, I don't know if I could how long I could do this. So, I mean, give it, I don't know, over 10 years that he's been away from it. And he's like, all right, I'll be involved. But I won't draw the shit.
Yeah, no more manga. The manga's not coming back. It's just the anime series.
Yeah, he's beyond manga. And there's also kind of fun, they also added in a character that was for a comic that he created, which was in the Dragon Ball Z universe, but not in it. Like, he never appeared in any of the comics. And he was in one of the movie. It's this kind of alien-looking dude. So,
yeah, I wonder if basically the whole plot of Return of Frieza will just be stretched out into an entire series or something. They could technically remember that Frieza thing is just an OVA. It didn't really happen.
Which one? The Frieza thing?
Yeah.
No, there's supposed to be more canon than the actual...
Really? It's not like the old Dragon Ball Z movies where
no, these two movies are actually canon because Akira Toriyama had more to do with it. The other movies are not official canon because they never even make mention of them. It's like, hey, remember that time when we fought?
Yeah, Cooler! Remember Frieza's brother?
I've always wondered about that. It's like, but you fought somebody more powerful than Frieza. Whatever. Yeah.
Remember that time when you went to Super Saiyan 3 and you fought that giant dragon monster and the dude with the ocarina flute?
Yeah, yes.
I even like in this new movie how he goes Super Saiyan 3 briefly and is like, all right, enough of that. Just goes back to 2. Like, what? Okay, sure.
Like, let me just depower. I have cooler hair too.
3 is stupid. It's bulky and my hair's too long.
Super Saiyan, but he actually does the Super Saiyan 3 thing, yeah.
Yeah, where he has bananas on his head now. I was like, come on, man. It's like, no, go to 2. 2 looks cool. It's just spikier,
Yeah, he goes to 3 and he has no eyebrows.
Yeah.
But it's funny how it's 3 has no eyebrows, but 4 has it's just red. He's
Remember,
just all red.
GT doesn't count, man.
Yeah, he's just all red though.
Yeah, he's just red and his tail grows back.
No, I'm in the new.
The new one?
Version of 4 is just all red.
I thought it was blue.
No, that's this movie, the new movie.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I'm thinking the red one is 4, and then maybe 5 is the blue one.
So wait,
I don't know.
Is the red one Kaioken or something?
No, he does a red one inside of the new movie when he fights that cat dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, so, I don't know. Anubis or whatever.
Yeah, he fights that weird Anubis guy. It's the usual Dragon Ball thing. It's like, I want to find the strongest fighter in the world, or universe.
No, dude, that was actually like I love the whole concept. Like Rachel was kind of listening in when I watched this last one, and she's like, "What are they fighting over a pudding cup?" And I was like, "Yeah, Beers wasn't even like gonna go and destroy everything. He's like, I'm just gonna pop it." And Paul was like, "Join us." And then Beers goes to he's like, I want some pudding. Pudding sounds amazing. And Boo shares pudding. So Boo and Beers started fighting. And then everybody started fighting. I was like, that's fucking perfect. Like, that is a great reason.
Yeah.
Over pudding.
Why not, right?
Yeah, why not? Like, it doesn't need to make sense.
But see, the thing is, he came... Oh, we're totally spoiling this shit.
It came out last year, whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that he totally went... he was there looking for the Ultimate Fighter, and he went down there, and he's like, all right, she invites him. He's like, all right, sure. And then after that's the thing that set him off into the big battle. But he was looking for a fight initially.
Yeah, but still, the fact that the whole movie was over pudding. Like,
yes. The entire planet could be destroyed over pudding. That's brilliant. That's Dragon Ball Z right there. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about the new series and stuff when it comes up. Very excited over that.
Even at the end of that movie, they actually had a redo of the old, Chala, hey Chala.
Oh Oh, by the way, and for you, because I know some of the guys, they only grew up with the American one. Now you're gonna get to hear Goku's Japanese voice. You know.
Oh, dude, I love the Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball kickbacks with like Emperor. What was his name? Emperor Pilaf trying to steal Dragon Balls, and Goten comes in. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they look at him. He looks exactly like young Goku, and they all shit their pants. It's great.
That's awesome. Oh man! All right, and the last thing. Now, this is the reason I didn't know about the whole Valve, Steam, whatever thing, because my whole timeline of Twitter just blowing up. The motherfucking Joker. Jared Leto. You know, like we've seen little glimpses of what he's gonna look like, but we got a full-on like picture of what he looks like. And you know, he was doing the classic Killing Joke pose where he's like that, like yeah, you're going crazy. But he had all these tattoos on him and stuff, and that's what set people off. Like, you know, he had ha 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 written on him. He had like, by the way, I like the tattoos because I'm like, this is a man who rips his face off just for the fuck of it. Why wouldn't he have tattoos? The thing that kind of annoys me is like people have this like preconception about Joker, and my thing is like, you should get rid of those. This man is completely fucking random. This is the same man that will kill you. Will sit down and eat ice cream with you. You don't know what the Joker will do in any given day. So why wouldn't he get tattoos on him? And then obviously, you know, the studio backpedaled, like, no, he doesn't have any tattoos. That was just for the 75th anniversary. I call bullshit on that, because if that was just for the anniversary, why would he have tattoos that you can't even see in the picture? You know, it's bullshit. And it goes. I don't understand. Like, this is a different medium. You know, it's like as long as it stays true to the character. He still looks like the fucking Joker. Why can't he have a couple tattoos?
The tattoos are what people were pissed about?
That's what I heard the most. Like
not the fact that he looks like Marilyn Manson with color.
No one knows that. He's like, oh,
I saw it, and I was like, a peek into the hole.
Yeah, thank you. That was my first thought too.
No rain. You know, I would have. I would have made Marilyn Manson the Joker. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, the ththing I heard, like, resoundingly, we don't like these tattoos. Like, that was the other thing. And then the other one was, like, the teeth. Like, why does he have metal teeth? And, you know, the theory that came out, and I like this theory, Batman punched them all out. And I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense. Batman's just beating the shit out of this dude all the time. Let's get metal teeth so he can't break these. You know, but I had no problem with the tattoos. This guy's fucking nuts. And I love the fact that damaged on his forehead was written perfectly. Like, all the tattoos were fucked up looking. It looked like he did them himself. And then this perfectly written tattoo. I'm like, that's brilliant. That's fucking great. But they backpedaled.
I feel like it also, you know what the thing is? I think also the people had is that they weren't even more creative tattoos. They were just kind of like shit tattoos that you'd get like on a whim. I feel like he would have. I mean, at least would have felt like he would have had better. He literally has a fucking juggalo on his friggin' chest. Like, come on, guys. You know, what did he go? What did he get? Where did he get tattoos at the Insane Clown Posse tattoo shop? Fuck.
Yeah, they're trying to say, like, oh, those tattoos, they're just different aspects of the Joker through the 75 years. That's what they're saying now. Like I said, I call this a Cole McGrath situation. People didn't like it, so they changed it. That's what I say.
I mean, what is he going to have on his... He's probably going to have Joker written on his belly, across his belly.
Yeah, no more... No, it's official now. The studio came out officially said, no tattoos on him at all. Yeah, I saw the Ben Affleck one was fucking great. That was great. I'm Batman.
I miss my mom and dad, and that is why I fight. I like the dollar signs going down the arms. This is, I'm rich.
But yeah, the whole internet just exploded. Like, it took over everything, you know. It's
not that he had tattoos; it's that his tattoos are fucking doofy.
They're horrible tattoos.
Yeah, they were pretty stupid. But I like the idea that Joker would have tattoos. You know, he looked, like I said, he looked more real world crazy than comic book crazy.
Brett is like, get me in there. I could design some badass tattoos for you, Joker.
There you go.
No, it's not even that. Like, it's okay. I've seen real bad tattoos. Like, I've seen prison tattoos, and it's not that. Like, yeah, he's just got like a weird mix that seemed it's the whole thing fucking screams trying too hard. Like, and he doesn't strike me like he belongs in fucking the band Prodigy. He's not the Joker.
You know,
I'm like, that's fine. Like, you can make an edgier Joker, but like. It just seems like a weird, like, this seems like the kind of, like, hoodlum you would see Joker beat the fuck out of for fucking up something on his turf in a comic book than the actual Joker himself. Like, I have seen people in the comic books that look like this, and they're always that, like, moody scene kid who thinks he's super cool until he watches Batman beat the fuck out of somebody. Like, it's always that kind of character. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't hit the same keynotes that Joker is supposed to for me, but whatever, it's more par for the course.
Yeah, but don't worry, those tattoos are gone. Now just imagine that same picture without tattoos, just completely white.
That's even worse! It is even worse! Now it's just bad casting.
Well, don't say that, because people are like saying that this Jared Leto's like the next coming of Jesus or something.
Oh, God, really?
Oh, well, you know.
Did these people
I also to balance this situation, I also bring up the fact that when everybody first saw the Heath Ledger Joker,
yes, thank you.
And everybody was like, "Oh God, what is that?"
Yeah, I remember that. The internet exploded. They were pissed. Like, why does he have paint on his face? Why does he have scars on his mouth? Like, they were not. Why does he have long hair? And then now Heath Ledger's like the Joker to among people.
He's such a good Joker. He won a fucking Academy Award for that.
Yeah, no, it was a great Joker. I also view that as the beginning of the problem. Like, Heath Ledger decided to go out on a limb and do something different, and it worked. And every other DC thing has been trying to do that same thing. It's like, you know, you can't just reinvent every character the way that Heath Ledger reinvented Joker. Like, that was a risky fucking move. And he nailed it. He totally fucking nailed it. But I don't know that you're going to be able to just, you know, capture lightning in a bottle like that again.
He's going to be definitely going to be a hard act to follow. I mean, he literally made the Joker scary because he was fucking scared.
Yeah, he really was. But here's the thing, though. I say, you know, and I know I've said shit about the Batman movie, but the thing is, we haven't seen this guy yet. Remember, Jack Nicholson was the same thing. Like, wait, was this guy going to be good? And he was great. That was the Joker for people for a long time.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson is fucking scary. Like, this guy is not.
Well, we haven't seen him act yet, dude. We don't know. He could be. I'm just saying people shitted on Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson, and we got two great Jokers. The same thing may happen. I'm not saying it will happen. The guy may be terrible. I don't know that, but I'm saying he may be good.
I wish I could think of a better version of Joker, because Joker is supposed to historically have this really angular face. Like, why can't we?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. See, I'm going back to Jack Nicholson didn't have an angular face though. Joker, it's not. You know, like I said, with this guy, you kind of have to let your preconceptions go, because he could be anything. You know, the only thing.
Why do I have to let my preconceptions go? The movie is going to be fucking called Batman.
No, he's not in Batman. He's in Suicide Squad. He's in Suicide Squad.
Fine.
Remember that?
I guess.
You know, although
it still seems like it's you know, basing its popularity off of something else that already exists. So it's.
Hey, listen, all I'm saying, my favorite Joker is Mark Hamill. I'm not expecting that when I go see these movies. I just want a good portrayal of the character, because Joker has been so many things throughout 75 years. He's always changed, so you know it could be good. That's all I'm saying. Now, again, granted, the portrayal could be bad. The movie could be bad. We don't know. DC doesn't have a good track record yet.
It could be bad. Like the way that the picture is set up, like, makes me a little concerned. But like, hopefully, it's just a weird picture, because he does look a lot like the more recent Jokers, you know, before his face was cut off.
Yeah, he does. And remember, like I said, he's doing the classic, you know, Killing Joke pose right there, where the moment where he turned into Joker. That's actually exactly what he's channeling. Like, remember, he's doing the exact. Like, the only difference is like he had more hair in the comic book. But yeah, it's the same pose.
No, it's a hands on the face kind of thing, but Jared Leto's pose is much more like it's screaming. It's more animated. It's less like a mental fracture.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying that's what they're channeling here, and even the picture before
that. Well, if they're channeling that, they're pretty fucking far off, Tony.
Well, you know why he had to hold his hand like that, right? Because they had to show that one tattoo there, because the hands are really supposed to be like
it's not
this.
the position of the hand. It's the whole tone. Like, Jared Leto's Joker comes across as in your face and edgy and manic. Like, the picture that it's based on looks tense and like at the point of fracturing. Like,
oh yeah, I agree with you on that one.
If it is channeling something, it is channeling the wrong thing, because I am taking away the complete opposite impression. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope that the movie is more on tone than this is, because if like, you know, on the SATs, like, if this is equal to the difference that the movie is going to have from the original comic, then I am not fucking interested.
Yeah, again, we'll see about that, because supposedly Joker may not even be in the movie too much, but I expect he'll be in the movie a lot. I don't care what these people are saying, you know, because they're like, he's not an actual member of the Suicide Squad, but I'm pretty sure he'll get himself in there somehow.
I mean, it depends on how people react to it, and I believe he could. Like, I really wish they'd tone down. Like, I understand Joker generally has very sunken dark eyes, but don't make it look like he's wearing goth eyeliner and lose the fucking metal teeth. And I don't have a problem. Like, I always kind of thought, and maybe I'm mistaken in this because it's just my opinion, but I always thought like Joker had like a badass Yakuza suit tattoo or like a shitload of tattoos under his suit that you never fucking saw. Because he's always wearing his suit and he's always wearing his gloves. But I'm pretty sure the couple times that I've seen a couple times where Joker's taking his shit off and he has like a huge fucking dragon tattoo that wraps all the way around.
I don't remember that. I always remember his skin just being completely white. But again, Joker has had many incarnations, so
yeah, like I don't have a problem with him having tattoos. And like either they could be like crazy bad prison tattoos, or they could be, you know, weird Yakuza tattoos, or just like a fucking like, you know, bunches of check marks, you know, and any of those would be terrifying and any of those would be acceptable. It's just, man, it's just looks like a juggalo.
Well, like I said, like they already said, and again, my maintained a backpedal. Joker's not going to have any tattoos now.
Okay, so they backpedaled on the thing that wasn't the problem. I still have beef.
No, but I'm saying that's the thing that I guess you're actually the only person I've heard who has a problem with other aspects. Everybody's complaining about the tattoos. That's the main thing they were complaining about, and now those are gone. So, like I said, imagine that picture, but just perfectly white skin now. But everything else is still the same.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna paste a perfect example.
Okay, let's see here. We're looking here. What is this? Oh no! What we wanted? That's funny.
That's my reaction.
The Joker.
I'll show it to the people.
Yeah, show it to the people.
New Joker looks like a fucking meth head. That's what it is. That's why it bothers me.
There you go. There you go, people.
Yeah, there you go. And I can say what we wanted, what we got. And one of them is one of them is a classic panel Joker redone colors. It looks like.
Yes.
And some asshole European trash douchebag on the right side. Oh man. Okay, that is it for the show. I think. Do I have any other notes here? I think I do. Hold on here. Oh yeah, Brian wrote it. Or hold on to see. Brian wrote a review of Age of Ultron, a non-spoilery one. Go read that.
Nice.
I will write for you a spoiler-filled one after I see the movie again tomorrow, and we will have Age of Ultron, spoiler alert, obviously.
Spoiler alert.
And I don't know when this is going to go up exactly, but we're going to do an editorial about what characters we want Telltale Games to do with the Marvel Universe, because you know the whole partnership is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple people already submitted their thing. I wrote more than I should have, because you know me, I'm crazy. So that'll go up either Friday today or Monday, you know, because I want more people to jump in and stuff. I'm getting too insider baseball now, but yeah, it'll get there. And that's it. Hopefully, I want to talk to Chris. I want his reaction to Age of Ultron. Man, excited. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook. Links are available in the description below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
I have no strings. No Black Widow on this, by the way, or Hawkeye.
Uh-oh, they sexist. All right, and Brett Murdoch.
Cross your fingers for me, people. I'm bringing it this weekend.
Yes, Brett, pimp your shit. I almost forgot about that. Pimp your shit.
Oh, I'm going to a tattoo convention this weekend. I'm going to be working the Kansas City Tattoo Arts Convention, sponsored by Villain Arts. I'll be there Friday through Sunday, competing in various categories. What's that?
I said you said you'll be competing in Mortal Kombat.
Yes, I will be competing in Mortal Kombat Friday night. No, I'll be competing in Tattoo of the Day on Friday, and then various other categories on Saturday. There's going to be a sideshow, live suspension, and midget wrestling. So fuck
Sweet.
Yeah,
it's fucking the Midwest, of course.
Nah, man, that's a lot of tattoo conventions.
Yeah, that's how the tattoo folks roll. Like, let's watch a guy pound a nail into his head, then hang people up by the flesh on their back, and watch midgets beat the fuck out of each other with whiskey.
Sounds like good times to me. Or it sounds like a concert.
Yeah. These dudes know how to party, man.
So yeah, I mean, do they have? I'm not exactly sure how tattoo conventions work, but do they have like a table where you post it at a table or something? Or Brett, are you alive?
I think Brett's gone. You see a picture of him like that. He's stuck in time. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Unfortunately, Brett got cut off. So
Brett got cut off. Oh well. All right, guys.
Yes,
later.
Make sure if you're at that tattoo convention, make sure you drop. Give him. Watch out. Look out for him. He's easy to spot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, Brett's going to be around a bunch of people with tattoos, so he may not be easy to spot. Tattoos.
Just look for that guy. The guy
who's frozen.
The guy who's frozen on the bottom there.
All right. Later, people.
Later, guys.